Be discussing a little more in depth coming up later on the show. But we had a woman on the line here. Good morning, ma'am. Didn't get your name again, please. Hello.
Hi, Chris. This is Christina.
Okay,
Hi,
Christina.
What happened?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was born and raised in Guam. I don't see color, okay? But this weekend we were the victims of a riot. My son and his friends were just sitting in front of the house. A bunch of guys were drinking at the bus stop. They decided to mess with my son, and they took our lawn chairs across the street. And then they came back and they started throwing bottles at our house. So my son was protecting our property. I honestly hate it when people get drunk and don't care about other people's property. We all work in this household. We work very hard for what we have. And to have bottles being thrown at our house and damaging our cars. And the messed up part, we don't know who threw the bottle, so nobody got charged with damaging our cars. That's still under the bank. And because all of their family members went down to the precinct and we were told my son was only going to be questioned, my son got arrested for defending us in our property. So I'm not prejudiced. I just wish that they would teach each other not to drink at the bus stop. Or if you don't know how to drink, stop drinking, because I don't understand. It was crazy. My whole street and it's.
Ma'am, where is this? Look.
Jason Solis is my neighbor down the road. This was on Aga Boulevard. We had 2 ambulances, 15 cop cars. The neighbors were out with their bats. We are good people. We go to work. We go to sleep early. We make our money. We protect our property. And then my son gets arrested because one of the guys went into the hospital. But they were all jumping my son. And they were all drunk. My son wasn't even drinking.
What day was this, ma'am?
Saturday.
Saturday night?
Yeah, and I'm really, honestly, I know a lot of good chickies. I have friends. I'm not prejudiced. I'm trying not to be. But when they start drinking at that bus stop, I hate people who drink, get drunk, and don't care about other people's property or life.
I hate it too,
ma'am. My son got
ma'am.
hit on the head real bad. But he sent one of them to the hospital, and because somebody went into the hospital, my son got arrested. But where does the line drop now? We have this law that allows us to protect our property, but we can't do anything to them if they're standing in the road throwing bottles at our house, breaking our cars, breaking our house. Then because they're standing in the road, we can't do anything? How do we stop it then? I'm just glad I got good neighbors that were outside, ready, waiting. If just in case, we have lots of witnesses. But because their family members all went down to the precinct and said my son started it, we didn't know that was what they were going to do. If that was the case, then I think all of us would have went down and wrote our statements as to what happened.
But police didn't interview you guys when they came to the scene? They didn't speak to you guys about what was going on?
Yes, Miss Sabrina, they did. They interviewed my neighbors. They interviewed me and my husband. My husband broke out the gun. I was woken up. This happened around 10, so I fell asleep on the couch, and my daughter, my 13-year-old daughter, said, "Mom, there's something going on." So I jumped up, and all I saw was bottles flying, fists flying. My son got hit. I saw blood on my son's face. So I lied and yelled, "The cops are coming, the cops are coming," because I didn't know what else to do. My husband was in the road with a gun to scare them away. They didn't stop until they saw the blue lights. That's when they all ran, and some of them got away, but there was about 10, 15 of them.
Whoa.
And we don't do anything. We go to work. Now I'm so scared. I'm closing my typhoon shutters because I have to go to work, and my child and my son are home.
Ma'am, there's always 2 sides to every story. So what do you think the other side would say?
They said, I don't know, because you think about it. This happened at my house. They live across the street. This house has a history of violence. They broke a neighbor's cars, front and back windows, and guess what? If you don't see who did it, you're going to pay for that out of your own pocket, just like the dents on my car and my truck. We have to pay out of pocket because we didn't witness who did it, who threw it. We couldn't hold anybody accountable. And this is ongoing. So I'm not prejudiced. I still have my faves. I have my friends. But I am prejudiced against people who drink, get drunk, and create a lot of drama with no regard to accountability that they're going to have to pay for it, you know?
Me too. I'm prejudiced against people who do that too. I'm with her.
So I'm not prejudiced against Micronesian. Yes, all lives matter, but they need to stop doing this behavior. It's not normal. Drinking in the jungle, throwing your trash in the jungle, or drinking at the bus stop, that's not normal behavior. We don't, as locals, do that.
Have you ever had any confrontations or arguments with this, I guess, your neighbor in the past?
I guess my son is a target because they were caught burglarizing and they stole a car down the road. My son saw the stolen car and stopped the guys. They called GPD and the guys got arrested. Because the reason why my son knows the stolen car is because it's a close family friend. So he followed the stolen car and those guys got arrested for stealing, and I think my son got marked from there. And now I think our house is marked. If I see patrol cars, I sleep a lot better. But it's just like maybe you'll see them come out, and then for a while you don't see cop cars, and then you see them come out again, and then you don't see them for a while. So I honestly, Aga Boulevard is scary. We weren't like that before. We're all good people. We all go to work. We make our money. We're not on, you know. It's just hard. It's just hard. Now I have to. This car is still under the bank, but it got a big dent on the side from the beer bottles. In fact, I'm still finding beer bottles throughout my yard.
Yeah. We got a comment here. Bus stop is off limits. It's a government village property. We have a bus stop and we monitor it all the time. And when things are happening there, we have the right to call the police before any damages or vandalism is done. Ma'am, but you bring up a problem that, I mean, come on, guys. This is nothing new. I've done a million stories on, the machete attack in Manila.
Yeah.
This was started by a group of guys who were doing exactly what you said. They were in the jungle drinking the whatever it is they're drinking, throwing their trash. I mean, in Manila, there are whole...
Not Chris, because just because 25% of them are like that, you can't say 75% are like that.
I don't want to get into the stats of it, ma'am. I just want to say that
really hard.
It is what it is. I mean, there are people who hang out in the jungle and drink until they're buck wild. They throw their trash in the jungle and then they go walk around and they start trouble. We see it here in Harmon. It is what it is, and I don't think if you're saying the ethnicity of the people that makes you a racist. I really don't. I mean, if they're Chukis, they're Chukis. If they're Chamorro, they're Chamorro. If they're Filipino, they're Filipino. Just saying the race of the people, I don't think is racist. Now, if you're going to say, oh, because they're whatever ethnicity they are, then that would be racist. But merely stating as a fact the ethnicity of the, I don't agree. I think we just throw around the racist word. It's a little too easily nowadays.
They don't care about going to jail. They only care about the show, the drama, and 10 o'clock. I'm asleep. That's who I am. We all work hard on this street for what we own. Mm-hmm. It's scary. It really is scary, and to feel like there was nobody here for us, and that 5 guys can turn around and jump my son and beat my son up, and one of the cops going to get here, and then to tell us because they were in the road, my son had no right to defend our property.
Now I know if I'm ever going to go crazy, I'm going to stand in the road.
Don't, let's not do that.
No, we get in some comments. I don't know if your neighbor is Berdine Barson, but there's some comments coming in that they want to talk. They were there.
What did they say?
I don't know. We'll try and get him to call in. But, I don't know the details of, other than what you're telling us. But I will say that, yeah, it's a major problem. We don't have enough police patrols.
And on top of it, they went down to the station to support those guys that were, okay, listen, we were on our property. We're at home. These guys live down the road, all the way down, the opposite side of the street. What does that tell you? We're looking for trouble? We're staying home. My son and his friends, they like to look at videos. They even play games with each other, They weren't doing anything. So I don't know what they told the police station. They're saying my son instigated. My son did not instigate it. We were on our property.
How old's your son?
My son is 21.
And so your son's 21. There's a little bit of history between your son and this
group. One of their relatives were one of the ones that stole a car down the road.
Allegedly.
Yeah, we don't know what the outcome of that is, but the owner got her car back.
But yeah, ma'am, again, I gotta say that this is something I never dealt with this when I was your son's age.
Castle doctrine law, when is it okay for us to defend our property?
You have to wait until they broke in and they're killing your family. Then it's okay. That's when it's okay. I guess.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow, that's not right.
Yeah, no, ma'am, I'm being a little sarcastic there. But yeah, this is a real problem, and it's something I never dealt with when I was 21. When I was 21, and living here, I never had to worry about. There was one time I was at GPO with my kids. I'm getting them in the car, and I open up the back door to put them in. When I closed the door, there was a drunk dude on the other side of my door. Like, I swear to God, I almost punched his face because he was just like right there. And he was like, "Oh, do you have any money?" And I was like, "Man, get back the hell up, dude." And in a situation where I don't give a damn, I don't care what his personal story is. When you get in my space and and I got the kids.
Yeah, I have a 13-year-old in the house.
And then you're right. It's on us to protect our families against. Just out here in Harmon, it's routine. Every day we see guys who have obviously been drinking, walking around, and you could just tell. I can tell who's out to start trouble. You know what I mean? And you can see it all the time. It's too much. There are not enough police patrols. You're right. When we see the cops out there, it sends the message to the criminals that, they're out there doing stuff. And when you don't see patrols, we end up with this lawlessness where they're drinking in the bus stop, they're drinking in the jungle.
And it's only when that house down there has a party. It seems like they were having a party this weekend. And if we
was it less than 25 people, ma'am?
Why would my son allow them to take 3 of our lawn chairs and bring it to the middle of the road? My son tried to avoid it. It's when they started throwing things at my house is when my son stood up. And they hit my truck and they hit my car. But if they broke the windshield, guess who's paying for that? I am. If they broke the glass on the car, I am. If they broke my taillight, I'm the one that's going to pay for it. Why? Because we don't know who was the one throwing it. There were so many of them.
Well, we're going to try and get hold of GPD this morning and maybe find out, ma'am. Okay, and then we'd like to get the other side, too, because the comments are blowing up.
Sides of the story, but the problem is, honestly, I can't see their side. I can't. Because I'm all the way on this side of the road. And they live all the way down there. And it's not the first time they did this. They've done it repeatedly. They drink at the bus stop. They pollute the bus stop. There was even one time where there was a guy sleeping in the bus stop. I reported it to GPD. They came. They found a toddler with the guy drinking. There was a little girl overnight with this guy. I guess he was babysitting. And Simon Sanchez students were waiting for the bus to come and pick them up. This is not the first time.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so that's my piece. Thank you for letting me share my opinion about all lives matter.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Okay. Bye. Wash your hands. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk like the details of the incident? I mean, we can. And ma'am, if you want to call in, and we'll try and get your side on here. But this is something that happens all the time. I mean, it really is. It happens all the time. And I don't care if you're Chukis, Yappies, Ponape, Chamorro, Filipino, whatever. I don't care. If you're out drinking in the jungle and you're going to go beat people up and throw stuff and, start a riot, and then I just don't like you.
Yes, Berdine, you can call now.
Yeah.
637-0094.
Okay, and I think this is Berdine, so let's try and get Berdine on.
Berdine, are you there?
Berdine, is that you?
Oh, half a day.
Berdine?
No, this is actually Barson.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
What's up?
okay.
Oh, Barson, right. Yeah.
I just called because I'm hearing a lot of comments. I'm kind of like just laughing at the side because everything that she told, even other crimes that not even related to us, not even our stolen cars, people sleeping in the bus stop, drinking in the bus stop, we don't do that. That's why we have our house here.
So you were you said you were there, you saw it?
Yes, because that's my younger brother, 18-year-old. Her son always pick on my 18-year-old little brother since he was 7. He just turned 18 this April. And the thing is, my brother and my younger cousin walked to the store because we have to walk through the street to the store. And then my two brother and my cousin walked over. Her son comes out because he's always targeting my younger brother. We were all just sitting here at our house, sitting with our cars, sitting because we all just came from the beach, relaxing. All we see is all of them running out from their house. So what are we supposed to do? Stand here and just watch them scattering to my 18-year-old brother and 20-year-old cousin? And she say one son? That was a lie at what's doing. Why do you think my little brother didn't get arrested and her son got arrested? My brother got arrested that night. What came out? And then us, when we went over to her place, we had no weapons. They all ran out with pellet guns shooting at us.
So can you just take us back to what exactly happened? What prompted this whole thing? Was there a party, like she was saying? Barson?
Barson?
Barson, are you there?
Hello, Barson? Okay. I think we lost Barson. Yeah, pretty interesting.
Right. I mean, it sounds like there's something where they don't get along, obviously, and they're neighbors. Yeah. And something happened, and things got out of control, I guess, and led to someone being arrested.
Definitely not the first time.
And someone else being injured.
We'll call GPD. I don't know. Maybe this is
Barson.
Yeah, Barson, is that you?
No, it's Christina.
Oh.
He's lying.
Okay.
He is lying. He is so lying. We are all the way over here. My son and this 18-year-old and his other friend that's 21, they were just sitting down. They were drinking at the bus stop. They took the chairs across the street. He's lying. They're saying they were peaceful. And yes, my neighbors were out with baseball bats. What else are they going to do? They were throwing bottles at our house. And yes, your brother got released. Well, my son got released too.
I guess we're going to have to find a police report because,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who to believe here.
I'm not lying.
I know, I'm not calling you a liar, ma'am. I do know that this kind of stuff happens all the time, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to say, oh, what are they going to do? My neighbor, what pellet gun? My husband had to show them the gun so they can back off. What are you going to do when you have 5 guys against 1 boy? His friends were trying to stop my son. That's how he got hit. it wouldn't have escalated if they didn't throw anything at my house and damage our cars.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they were just walking to the store or hanging out at the bus stop. Let's be specific.
Christine, what was this again? Aga Boulevard?
Aga Boulevard and Cousin Lucero. And the store down the road is Galilee Mart. So if you're walking straight down to the store, you pass my house. But they were drinking at the bus stop.
Okay. We just reached out to some of our friends in Manetlu, and they want to kind of check out the scene there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe we could do some mediation with you guys. Would you be down to do some mediation with the family?
I wanted to talk to the woman of the house down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go there peacefully and talk to the lady of the house, because one of these days, one of our own is not going to survive if this keeps escalating. The guy broke a bottle and was going to stab my son with it.
And so you've tried to reach out, or you haven't been able to speak with her yet?
I've been, thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Walking down the road, talking to her. But I saw them trying to stop them. So I know there's good people down there.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's good people down there that don't want this to be going on.
Okay. Well, hopefully you guys can speak with one another. Barson, she's on the line.
The willingness is there.
Yeah, to see if we can
but
work
I'm
this out.
scared because these guys don't care. The guy that was down on the ground kept saying sorry. When he got up and got to the middle of the road, he acted like he wanted to come back and fight. I was so glad to see the blue lights.
Well, thank you, Christina. We're gonna get GPD, and maybe we can check out the reports or whatever.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Christine. All right. Wash your hands. 7:05. Hey, we're gonna take a little break, and wow.
I know that was pretty intense.
Yeah, it was.
And we're talking about crime.
Yeah, this is a crime issue, not a race issue. Okay, so we'll take a little break and we'll come back. There's a lot of comments about this, so we'll figure it out. Obviously, I mean, I don't even want to say there's two sides. There's like three sides to every story.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now we're hearing that both were arrested. The Barson's nephew or little brother?
Yeah, and I mean, I think to be fair, when something escalates past a certain point, when it reaches past a point, there's, you both can stop, and if you just keep escalating.
So hopefully they can come together and speak with one another and resolve this before there's any